They survived prison. They rebuilt their lives. But now, after 27 years of marriage, Loughlin and Mossimo Giannulli have quietly gone their separate ways. No public statement, no dramatic social media unfollowing, just silence, the kind that only comes when two people have already said everything they needed to each other. Behind that silence lies a story of guilt, forgiveness, and two souls who fought the same storm, until it finally wore them down. Long before scandal, Loughlin and Mossimo Giannulli were one of Hollywood's quieter success stories. Laurie, the face of America's nostalgia. Aunt Becky from Full House, the show that painted family life in comforting shades of laughter and love. And Mossimo, the visionary designer who turned a simple surf-inspired streetwear brand into a billion-dollar empire sold at Target and worn across America. Together, they seem to represent something almost old-fashioned, the calm, steady side of celebrity life. A power couple who didn't chase attention, didn't crave red carpets, and didn't need drama to stay relevant. They raised two daughters, Isabella and Olivia Jade, in what appeared to be a tight-knit, values-driven home. Charity galas, vacations in Cabo, family photos by the ocean, it all looked perfect. And for a long time, maybe it was. Until 2019, when the illusion cracked. The college admissions scandal didn't just shake Hollywood, it rewrote the rules of public trust. When federal prosecutors released the details, Laurie and Mossimo's names jumped off the page. Accused of paying $500,000 to secure their daughter's admission to USC, disguised as athletic recruits for the crew team. Headlines exploded overnight. America's sweetheart turns villain. The fashion mogul behind bars. Every talk show, every meme, every late-night monologue had an opinion. When they pleaded guilty, the nation watched. Laurie was sentenced to 2 months in federal prison. Mossimo, 5. But punishment doesn't always end when the gates open. When they came home, the world had changed. Friends had vanished. Projects had dissolved. Hollywood, the same industry that once adored them, now treated them like a cautionary tale. Still, they didn't run from it. They stayed together. They walked hand in hand through courtrooms and back into silence. It looked like survival. It looked like love forged in fire. But fire leaves scars. After their release, Laurie and Mossimo tried to build something new. Laurie avoided headlines, focusing instead on community work, quietly donating to education programs and mentoring groups for women. She began to re-enter Hollywood, slowly, appearing in small TV projects and independent films, often roles about second chances. Mossimo, meanwhile, retreated from fashion, turning his creative energy toward investments and private ventures. Publicly, they seemed united, the couple who faced disgrace and refused to let it break them. But insiders close to the family say that rebuilding was harder than it looked. Each carried their own guilt. Each coped in their own way. And somewhere in that process, the bond that once held them together began to fade. The scandal didn't just damage their reputation, it changed who they were. And sometimes two people evolve in different directions. Now, nearly 6 years after the scandal, people confirms what many suspected. Laurie and Mossimo are living apart. There's no legal divorce filing yet, no press statement, no war of words, just quiet distance. Friends say it was inevitable, that they had spent years trying to shield their daughters from the fallout, and in doing so, they forgot to protect themselves. It wasn't anger that separated them, it was exhaustion. For Laurie, acting again brought a sense of identity, a reminder of the person she used to be before the world fell apart. For Mossimo, solitude became his peace, a life out of the spotlight, where success wasn't measured in public approval but in silence. They still share family events, still show respect. But the romance that began in the glamorous chaos of the 90s now ends with a whisper. Their daughters have already lived through the most public version of redemption imaginable. Olivia Jade, once cancelled across social media, is now one of the few YouTubers to stage a genuine comeback. Through her podcast and lifestyle brand, she speaks openly about privilege, accountability, and healing. She's rebuilt her name, carefully, authentically. Sources say Olivia supports both parents equally, and that she understands the distance between them isn't about blame, but about change. Isabella, the quieter of the two, remains deeply private, choosing a life away from headlines. Together, the sisters form the emotional centre of this family, a reminder that despite scandal, love still exists, even if it looks different now. For Laurie, motherhood is her anchor. Her public appearances, understated, almost serene, show a woman who's learned to value peace over perception. She no longer chases roles for fame, she chooses them for meaning. And perhaps that's her way of moving forward. Their story, in the end, is about more than scandal or separation. It's about consequence and the long, messy process of forgiveness. Hollywood is full of reinventions, but rarely do we see one so quiet, so deliberate. Laurie and Mossimo endured one of the most humiliating public trials of their generation. They served their sentences, they faced the world, they tried again. And now they are facing one last truth. Sometimes love survives the storm, and sometimes it simply runs its course after the clouds clear. They began as partners in fame. They end as individuals, still linked by family, memory, and a world that never stopped watching. Not with bitterness, not with drama, but with grace. And maybe in a culture obsessed with spectacle, that kind of ending is the rarest story of all.